All right, what up, everybody? Switching to camera 2.
Bow.
Welcome to Thursday Hangout, featuring some of our guests. Hold on, I'm gonna get feedback here. We've got the Hangout crew of Suboxide and Johnny Foreplay, and then we've got one of our three guests, Paul Easyrider from Minneapolis. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
So he's been a promoter for a long time in the Minneapolis scene. Most recently, he's throwing urban agenda parties, if you've seen those, and those are at First Ave, right?
Well, they were until they condemned the record room.
Oh, they condemned the record room?
Pretty much, yeah.
What happened?
Well, you know, I think everybody probably was aware that the ceiling collapsed in the main room, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's
That was a
right,
while
yeah.
back. And at that time, it was just like I think it was like a 6-foot chunk that came down.
Oh,
What
And,
is that? Was it when people were in?
Yeah, there was a show going on.
Oh, snap.
And it was like a metal show. And I don't know if that had directly related to it, but
That's pretty metal.
yeah, big chunk came down on the crowd, and it was like a big deal. And they went up and they patched the whole area really nicely. And you know, if you've ever dealt with inspectors, this is totally expected. They came in and they said, you know, I like what you've done here, but I want you to do that to the rest of the ceiling.
Oh, yeah, I want that again.
Things
Man,
if you've ever been
that's
in First
crazy.
Avenue, that ceiling goes up through the main room, around the hallways and the gangway around the mezzanine, and then goes into the record room.
Right.
So
Man, Adrian was just telling me about something at a venue around here that had a roof problem or something too. They had to. I don't think they shut down, but I think they're like slowing business a little bit. I'm not gonna say anything though because I don't know for sure
yeah.
what it is exactly. So
So I think as soon as they touched the ceiling in the rec room, all the stuff they were grandfathered into went out the window, and that it's like there's no elevator up there. There's no separate bathroom.
oh yeah.
dang.
I
Oh,
think
they went in.
Yeah, they must have just done a cost estimate and just said it wasn't worth it at this time. So
Bad times.
we've been we did events there for 8 years. We did Concrete Jungle there. We did about another 9 months with Urban Agenda, and I did other things before that with like Steppers Alliance and a few other things back then. And so it really kind of took the wind out of our sails. Me and Sean Race, we just kept just floating around. We've done a few one-off events, but we really don't have a home right now.
Well, that's what nostalgia's here for. Nothing.
What are my money bags or something?
All right, hey, let's talk.
No. It's become a memory, a nostalgia. Hopefully it'll change though.
I see what you're
I'm rooting
saying.
for you. I'm rooting for you though. I hope things get fixed up and you guys can continue because that has to. I mean, if it's a main spot, you know what I mean. It'd be like over in St. Louis, 2720. Something happened to that would.
Yeah, where would you guys go?
You know, we would have to camp somewhere. Like we just have to sit around a campfire. Put some bass
It was
on.
weird. You know, it really took the whole dance music out of First Avenue. Basically, all the nights that they had besides ours, just gone. Really, so it's kind of weird situation.
Did they still do... Oh, man, I don't even remember what it was. That was probably like years ago, but Black was up there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did something else happen on Saturdays?
There were some other things going on after Black, but none of that stuff's going on. There's a few main room things, you know. I think Woody tried to do a bassgasm that didn't go off, but I'm sure he's got something else like that planned. But right now, it's really kind of quiet over there as far as dance music. It sucks. There aren't a lot of good venues for us.
Yeah, I really liked the vibe of the record room because it was a small room and it was loud and it had like a short ceiling. Whereas like if you go to the Barfly, you've got these really tall ceilings. I mean, the loft isn't super tall, but it doesn't make it seem as close and like intimate, you know?
Yeah, and acoustically, you know, for what we're doing, drum and bass music, you need the bass, and we were able to really just pack in the decibels. Just kind of turn the whole room
more space to.
Yeah.
Would definitely suck away from the sound, but if it's closed in, it's.
Right.
I always liked how there was those ceiling high packs that were like a little farther back, so that and if you were a little farther back in the room, you could still hear nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. We always brought in obviously reinforcement, about blocking sound, but that and the stuff in the bar in the back, we do. You know, it's just really got used to that sound level.
Right. Yeah.
That's part of the difficulty is finding another venue that will let us do that, you know, and like have that pressure, that bass pressure. It's There aren't that many venues like that around Twin Cities.
Totally.
Do you guys got a sound system you roll with, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We've been working with Darren Burton, who's got the unaffiliated sound.
Yeah.
We worked with him for a couple of years. So he did. He just got off doing the even further event. He did the main room there. So they've got I think they've got 24 or 30 bins now.
A
Ooh,
few.
kill him.
Yeah,
Just a
full
couple.
service. So
That's
yeah,
interesting.
we had him over there for a long time.
That's something I want
really
to.
like the system.
That's something I want to bring up later. Kind of sound system culture, I guess. But I kind of feel like, as an electronic promoter, if you have a sound system either that you own or your homie owns, you can just, that's like your show ingredients right there. Like the only last step is the venue, because
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
if you're trying to gather it all together with different clients, you got the light guy, the sound guy you haven't worked with before, all this stuff, it can be kind of a headache. I would think, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it can.
Yeah.
It's got to be a hurdle, especially people you've worked with for so long now. All of a sudden, you got to switch. So, yeah.
Yeah, we that's definitely part of what we were doing is Concrete Jungle and then Urban Agenda. I really got into the idea of having the sound be one of the main, factors that was always consistent. And that's
Right.
one of the reasons why I really haven't done much other than one-offs where I can bring in the sound, is because if the sound's not on point, if we don't have extreme bass, it's just not worth doing it to me.
Oh, man.
Right.
You understand.
Heretic in the chat's wondering if you have a room in your house that just is loaded with gigantic speakers.
Yeah, I do. Right next door.
Lucky.
I'm in my
Nice.
studio right now, in my basement, and then next door in this concrete wall, I've got a little collection
jam
of
room.
JBLs and whatnot.
Gotta love a jam room.
Yeah, I've got a 3-year-old now who goes to bed at 8 though, so unfortunately, not too many late night jam
Struggle is real.
sound system.
Shout out
Papa
Heretic.
struggle.
Shout out to Neonix. What up, man? We're talking
Oh, snap.
promoters, throwing shows, all that kind of stuff. Neonix, if you want to figure out how to get booked, we can help you, buddy. Don't worry. AKA, he's like on tour right now.
Yeah. He was just in Minneapolis, too, on Saturday, I think.
Yeah, they all went to the state fair. I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
I didn't get to make it out. I wanted to ask if all of our guests roll in one at a time, it'll be kind of funny because we could just go through each interview. But the first electronic show I went to, I think, was Concrete Jungle in the record room, I think. And I was like, oh my goodness, they play drum and bass in this town. And I was freaking out. The first dubstep show I went to was The Loft with Rusco. But I think
That
the
was
first...
my first dub show.
I think the first electronic show I went to in Minneapolis, the first show I went to in Minneapolis when I came up for college was Concrete Jungle. So that was so dope. What was the first show you threw, Paul, if you can think back?
Yeah. Let's see here. Well, the first thing that I did was a second room at a rave. This guy Mike Johnson was throwing. This would have been 95, and he just had an extra room at this rave he'd already been planning, and he said, you guys want to do? I was a DJ at the time. I hadn't done anything, and he said, hey, do you guys just want to do something in this room? And I looked at Sean. I was like, yeah, let's do it. So. I just grabbed we had the most hodgepodge collection of speakers, like home speakers, weird Vocal Master speakers, and home amps, and we just kind of pushed it all together, connected it all. And I remember I went to like Home Depot and I got a bunch of palm plants to make like a jungle. Make it look like a jungle.
Nice.
I put so much money into it, and that was
Authentic.
yeah. So that was the first thing that I threw. But pretty quickly after that, pretty much all of us that were playing drum and bass at the time in the Twin Cities came together and decided we wanted to start actually throwing shows. And the first show I threw as part of Jungle Vibe Collective, which was a collective of DJs back in the 90s. We threw some of the seminal Midwest events that back then. We did a break-in party actually in a furniture store, and it was called Safari. And Phantom 45 was supposed to be the headliner. He didn't show up, which was like the biggest disaster it ever happened to me at the time. Because it was my first show and we fired for it and everything, but it turned out all right. But yeah, it was a break-in party in St. Paul in this furniture store, and I had to give somebody who had just thrown a party there the week before. I had to give them $500 to get the key in my hand to open the door.
Right.
So what do you mean by break-in party? Did you have to so this was unauthorized is what you're saying?
Yeah, it was unauthorized. It was completely unauthorized.
Nice.
So-
Illegal,
Dang.
unauthorized.
Are you on the did the furniture company know or that's
Was
it?
it like was it after it had been
store-
shut down or?
Yeah,
something?
it was its furniture store had closed for
Oh,
business.
okay.
Storing all the furniture there, and this guy had thrown a party there. I think with somebody that was involved with the store. They said, okay, yeah, you guys could do a little party there. Gave them the key, but then the week after that, I think we lost a venue that we were planning on using. We were actually going to throw it in a club, I think, and we said, okay, the club wasn't available anymore last week before the show, and so it's just crazy to think about.
Leave it to the warehouse ravers.
Yeah, this guy, this shady promoter, said, "Well, I'll give you the key to get in for $500." So
This guy.
it's like, let's just give it a
Sounds
shot.
about right.
Let's do it.
$500
Bang, bang. Nothing to it, right? But to do it.
Yeah, and so we had the first floor completely like dark, and we just would open the door and wait till we saw somebody like walking by that was a raver, and we'd open the door and be like, come in, go, get everybody in the basement as quick as possible.
Not sketchy. Not sketchy.
And the cops were like driving around the neighborhood. They knew something was going on, but
Oof.
they never busted us. So
Nice.
That's good.
Nice. Came out complete.
I used to love that edge to it, where you always felt like you might get busted. You know
So
what I mean?
naughty. So naughty.
It was also so stressful. So I don't know if I'd ever want to go back to that, but
It's always, yeah. I feel like every event's a little bit stressful, but that just adds a whole nother layer to it, you know?
yeah,
Definitely see that. But if you start with that and then you move up from that, that's just like the rest is kind of caking away. I mean, you know what I mean?
it's different stress. That was
Just different stress, yeah.
different.
about making
stress.
money back then. It's just
Yeah.
about not going to jail.
Correct.
Freeman Bass asks, what do bookers look for? Original, unique, quality music being mixed, or familiar tracks that people know and flock towards?
That's a good question.
I'll take that. So, my whole thing on that is, and I thought about this because I expected that question. It's really, to me, there's kind of two ways you can go about becoming a quote unquote DJ these days, right? I mean, there's the old school way where I kind of came up where you just wanted to be a DJ. Back then, in the 90s, God, it was so expensive to even think about being a producer. I mean, the cost of being a producer now has gone down about 1,000%. Right?
Yeah, you had to actually buy things because everything wasn't software and torrentable.
Right. Back then, it was like hardware samplers that cost $1,000.
man.
Not even including a
Cords and
laptop.
all that. Oof.
Yeah. So, there's two ways you can come about things. The old school way where you just want to be a DJ and you want to play music, other people's music, maybe some of your own, and you want to play. You're going to be playing, regional shows, shows in your city, maybe get to play out of state, maybe some national exposure if you're lucky. Or the other way, which is you want to be an artist. You want to make your own music. You want to get known for that. And one of the ways to gain exposure and promote yourself and your music is then to play out as a DJ, right? Most producers dance music DJ, right? Or perform in some way. So depending on which way you're going to take things, which path you're going to take, that really kind of, to me, determines what you need to do to get yourself known, to get gigs, promote yourself. Because if you just want to be a DJ, you need to be a DJ. You need to spend all of your time networking with people around you in the city that you're in. You need to obviously be mixing every day. I hate to sound like every other business model, but you need about 10,000 hours, right, to be good at anything. So
Expert, yep.
yeah. So if you want to really become a DJ and become known as a DJ, you need to, first of all, you need to love music, but you need to really you need to focus on that. So you need to do mixes. You need to get those mixes out on social media. You need to hand them physically to promoters. If you want to be an artist, if you're making your own music and you want to DJ, then you have a whole other side of things that you need to worry about. You need to be, building your library of tunes that you've created. You need to create a SoundCloud, presence. You need to work on more of a profile of yourself as an artist, and so I'm kind of dancing around the question, but if it's bottom line is you need to create music, or you need to create mixes, and you need to get those out there.
Stick to one thing and grind. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I noticed once I transitioned to producing more, even just like from the past couple of years, I've done way less like networking.
Right.
And, like
it's
going out there and playing a lot of shows, because I used to just play like shows all the time, and I would just DJ, and it was easy. But now that I'm producing, it's like I want to like sit and make tunes all day, and I'm super hooked on it. So it's hard.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly the point. If you want to be a DJ, and there's nothing wrong with being a DJ, that's how I came up. I'm still kind of consider myself a DJ, although I produce a bit. That's your thing, and a DJ is somebody who's bringing the party. It's like making it lit, and it's really important then to network with people around you. Go to shows. You're not going to get booked at all if you don't go to other people's shows, or the shows that you want to play at, right? If they're regular club events, you need to be out there. You need to support the people in your city. You need to support the promoters that you're trying to get booked with. You need to be considered part of the scene, part of their crew.
That's so interesting, because like I'm coming from a mostly production background. I didn't start DJing until maybe 2 years ago. When actually, I wish Adrian were here, because he actually is one of the main reasons I started. He gave me 800s, CDJ 800s, and just a little mixer, and I learned. I mean, I've been producing since like 2004 or 5. I started meddling, and like coming from that, it is much more closet-ish. You sit at home and you're just sitting there getting these tunes together, just grinding, trying to make a sound that no one has, And I mean, getting to DJing, it's new, it's fresh. I remember being scared at first. I don't. My girlfriend told me, she was like, "Your first show, you were like nervous and stuff about it." Now I almost crave it. I love performance, and it feels like all that time I spent. It's got to be close to 10,000. Me and was it you, Andrew? Me and somebody were talking about 10,000 hours to become an expert.
Yeah, recently.
It has to be close to that. But for DJing, I got ways to go. I'm still learning. I mean, but you're always learning. That's the magic of it. That's the magic of all this stuff. There's never something. There's always going to be something that comes at you, and you're like, what? And it's just so exciting. It's interesting to hear Jack. Same thing, really, at this point.
Yeah.
To hear your input on it, because you started. I actually didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that. I mean, your productions are really cool. By the way, guys, keep an eye out for what this kid's cooking up. I'm telling you guys, you've never heard this. In fact, I'll just say
I showed him that new tune the other day.
You think triplets are dope. You think triplets are dope. You think quarter notes are dope. Let me tell you about quintuplets. Okay? You don't know anything until you've heard quintuplet rhythm. Okay, step it up, guys. This blow some stuff up. And nostalgia, I gotta say.
Ew.
That side, and oh boy.
You're talking about learning. And that the flip side of that is it's not just a passive thing. If you are going on the production route and want to be known as an artist, and an artist who DJs, you really and you know this. I mean, I'm sure because you're doing it, but you need to build. And again, I hate to sound kind of corny, but this is at some level we're entertaining people, and it's part of that whole the whole entertainment realm. And I think as an artist, there's sort of an unspoken narrative, right? That you're expected to be on a growth, a pattern of growth. You're expected to start somewhere, and then you grow, and you're prolific, and you have something new to share, to say in the music, and I mean, this is not necessarily applicable just to DJing, but it's almost like you have to be a product of your environment, but you have to change something in that environment. You can't be all the way on left field and expect to be part of what everybody else is doing. So
it's like if you got the fuel, you need the fire. If you got the fire, you need the fuel.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yep.
I feel that. That's a good way to put it.
I interesting comment in the chat here.
Go for it.
I think it's always a fun discussion, and I want to hear what Paul thinks as a promoter. I definitely have been very opinionated on this in the past, but Deadmau5 one time was hating on people who just DJ, and saying that that's not, you're not doing anything or whatever.
I disagree with that. Being someone who's been producing forever, I disagree.
Yeah.
It is a magical thing.
It's this whole timeless debate.
Blending
It's
music is beautiful.
Or not, I guess not timeless. I think it's more of an issue these days because people expect everyone to also be a producer.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's still a need and a place for just DJs. And I wonder if you feel that way as a promoter too.
Absolutely. Like I said, there's really kind of two paths now, and it didn't used to be that way because the price of getting into making music was so high in the 90s. Most of us just wanted to be a DJ. We're just happy, and the music was so fresh. We're just happy to have some place to be a DJ and to aspire to that. And absolutely, I mean, does anybody really take what Deadmau5 says seriously? I mean, I was
50% of the time.
It's just like taking
Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I really like this guy.
But,
other times.
But I think one thing as somebody who's maybe starting out and deciding how do I want to take this? I mean, it's good to have a goal and to understand where your expectations will take you. Because if you do want to be a DJ, it's great. And there's so many strong DJs in the Twin Cities and around the country. But you need to understand what that is going to entail, where that's going to take you. If you want to be a DJ these days, you're gonna be playing local shows. You're gonna be playing club events in your city. If you get big enough of a following, maybe in your state. Maybe you get flown around a few places if you're really well known, but you're not going to be playing out of the country, right? You just, unless you're a turntablist, or supporting another artist or an MC, you're not, you're going to be pretty much 80% of what you're doing is going to be local, and that's great. I mean, I've done that for 20 years. I've played in the Twin Cities, and it's some of the best times of my life. I've been doing that, but that's where that path is going to take you. You're going to be sharing the music that you love with other people, and you need to have a deep love and an understanding of the music, and and just follow that path.
That's the big thing to me. When I always debate that, I think that local DJs or just DJs still have a place. You have a place as like a conduit and like as a person who brings in the culture to your local area and shows it to people who otherwise wouldn't have heard it, because producers don't always have time to do all that. And I think DJs, with the lack of producing, have a unique position to be able to network more and to be able to promote themselves and their music more and get mixes out and get more people into it. So I think it's very important to have a lot of good local DJs around that like really representing the style that they're into.
The type of music, not to brag on Deadmau5, but I mean the type of music that he's doing perhaps doesn't require whole strategically placed DJs around the country pushing the music, because it's electro. It's been around for a while. But as a DJ, you have an opportunity to really like fall in love with something brand new and bring that to your city. And that's what I've done. With a variety of stuff. I mean, now I'm really kind of gone back to my jump up roots, and I just really love, and I'm really excited about jump up music, and it's really the extreme end of it.
It's making a comeback a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's amazing stuff going on with it. But in the past, I probably was one of the first people actually playing dubstep in the Twin Cities back when it kind of transitioned from the dark garage days. And I kind of handed that off to the next generation at some point. But, at that point in time, I was just super excited about what was going on with, Vex and people like that. And, LB back in that day. And before that, it was garage for a couple of years. And before that, it was drum and bass jungle when it was brand new. So I would say if you're a DJ starting out, find something that, that you can jump into, that excites you, that's different. And then people will see you as that guy or, that girl. And you'll be the person pushing something in your city, and that to me is just as exciting as pushing something totally different that you're doing as an artist.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a multifaceted issue, I would say, for sure. Kind of genre dependent a little bit, and then I do think it's a recent issue. I was gonna say, like, when DJing first started out, that was hella skillful, and now you can fake DJing really easily.
They've made it too easy.
And
I mean, going back and playing with some my buddy Adrian lets me play on his vinyl here and there. Like, it's definitely a challenge. It's a challenge.
Men from the boys.
The fact that people used to do that, like, no sync, nothing, no cue, even, like, all that stuff. It's magical, and it's an honor, honestly, to play on that stuff. It feels authentic, and like you're actually touching the sound. It's crazy. It's definitely changed. Things have changed a lot.
I loved it, except for my back. My back just didn't like.
Your back wasn't feeling it.
Records all the time.
Oh man, he's getting old.
Because you always have this huge crate or 2 crates, depending on
true that. Yeah, the organization. I mean, think about that. Good God.
I had back problems years. I had sore shoulders all the time, and I couldn't figure out why. It wasn't until I switched to a laptop.
Because you're lugging.
Let's get to we got some other questions rolling in. Thank you guys in the chat. I saw
I've got
one.
a bunch down.
Did you get do you want to do the one from Neonix?
Yeah, that's what I was going to start off with next.
Go ahead.
He says, big question for the gang in the chat. How do you think headliners should handle a support act playing a heavy set? Should you accept it and play a set you earned your headlining slot for versus whining about it? The opener's going too hard, putting the lineup mold, etc. That's another
I want to
really
know that
big
too.
debate, is if people are warming it up for the headliners, if they should, if people should go hard the whole time.
I have a problem with it.
Paul?
Well, there's it's a very opinionated question. It's a very loaded question. I have my own opinion. As a promoter, as a drum and bass promoter, maybe I'm a little biased that way. I just don't put any stock in that. And if I was the headlining DJ, I would feel ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous to complain about somebody playing before you, blowing you out of the water. And maybe with like certain genres, certain venues, it's a different story. But to me, from the culture I come from, dub plate culture, there's absolutely no reason why you would be concerned about somebody playing before you, because you should be playing. If you are a headlining act and you're being flown into a city and you're flown into a country and you are the star of the show, you should be playing stuff that either nobody else has or playing in a way that nobody else is. And really, to me, if somebody's whining about these people that some of these big name, big room DJs that complain about people try to define what people are playing before them, to me it's just absolutely ridiculous. But
I feel the same way.
Yeah, I'm kind of coming from the underground, so
it's okay. You do you, man. I respect. I'm gonna do me. We're all gonna go hard and have fun. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
I think it's a genre thing. So like something that I really love is when I go to a show and I hear music I've never heard before. And I kind of posted a status about this a while ago, being like, that's kind of unique to drum and bass for sure, but it's kind of unique to dubstep. But then like the poppier you get, I feel like the more people want you to play your hits. Right. Now I think you can be understandably upset if you're Pendulum playing a DJ set and someone's playing the entire Hold Your Color or whatever album.
I feel like
that's whack. Yeah, try not to play the same artist you're opening for.
I almost feel like
that holds true. Don't play the stuff that somebody else playing after you.
That's bad. I also feel like I've always felt like if it's almost in a way, if the promoter would want that, then it would make sense to book, like, say, a deeper artist first, because he's going to play deeper stuff, or calmer stuff, and kind of work the way up, maybe to like some rhythm, wonk, whatever you want to call it, like that squishy stuff, and then up to the really heavy, like if you could just work your way up with the artistry behind each individual, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. It is kind of up to the promoter to be conscious of who you're booking, and and I think
if you just put a bunch of heavy guys on,
right? Yeah, you can't
book
somebody who's, you go on their Mixcloud, and every track, every mix is full of like breakcore. You shouldn't expect them to come in and play Liquid and then complain when they don't.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, especially with producers, because they're going to want to play their own stuff, and if you book like a heavy producer, it's kind of a given.
Right.
I think it's genre dependent too, because I've always been a big fan of psytrance, and I've been a part of that community somewhat, at least in Minnesota for a long time, and they really really pride themselves on like crafting like this progression over the course of the day, because it's like a festival, you know. So like during the day, like the genres have almost developed to be like, okay, this is daytime full-on psytrance, and then the dark stuff plays at night, and it's always this kind of progression. But the thing that they do is they'll just book someone who's gonna play the set to fit the hour that they're booked for or whatever, and they're not trying to force people to play something other than they would play normally. But
that's
then,
a real
like,
holdover from the rave days back in the Midwest, you know, when everything was kind of like sort of like, you know, acid trance sort of experience back in the 90s. And yeah, that was kind of the idea back then, I think, was you build this whole vibe, you know, and play, you know, E-Tones would come and play the set at the end of the night at 5 a.m. and you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But drum and bass crowds are a little bit more forgiving, I'd say. I mean,
oh yeah,
people are just into the tunes, really. And I mean, you can come and play a play a more of a jump up set or a more of an epic dance floor set, and then have a liquid headliner. I don't think anybody's really going to bat an eye most of the time.
No. We got a good question in here. What about openers playing old tunes of a headliner's back to kind of show respect or support? You know what I'm saying? Like as an homage to them. That's a good one.
I feel like you have to ask if you want to do that.
I was gonna say,
you gotta ask.
I opened for we had Jumpin' Jack Frost at one of the Concrete Jungle nights, and one of his tunes was one of my first drum and bass tunes that I bought, and I was so excited about playing it, in front, for him. Mm-hmm. And I did my whole set, and then I turned around, standing behind me, kind of getting his headphones ready. I was like, okay, one more. And then I put it down, and it was his tune. I just realized, like, he was just kind of like, whatever.
How dare you?
Dreams crushed.
Yeah,
I feel that though.
Right. So it's really, I would just stay away from playing it. Most of the tunes that somebody else is known for, if they're headlining a show, it's just there's so much other music out there.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Maybe they were planning on playing an edit of that or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then you took away some of the spice,
Yeah.
A little bit.
Because then they'll hear it again, and you're stealing someone's thunder there. It's just touchy. I think it's not out of the question to ask, but also if you're a smaller DJ trying to hit up a big DJ, good freaking luck. Because they're busy, and if you're hitting them up like day of too, they're probably between flights, and don't call them a jerk because they didn't answer. They're busy.
Whoever would be opening for me, possibly potentially is in the chat. Just ask me first. I'm pretty chill. Just saying.
You got like a
if it's an old song, I'm like, hey, just let me know. I'm pretty easy to go. Just let you guys know.
There's a bunch of good questions going in.
I've written them all down.
Sweet.
Adrian's.
I'm copying them into a notepad.
What'd you say about Adrian?
He's apparently here. He said he tried calling me. I don't have him on Skype though.
Oh.
So I don't know how that happened.
I don't know if you guys
him.
have ever found yourself in this position, but this has happened to me before. Stylor asks, does it ever feel awkward performing at an event that basically the other artists are playing like mostly EDM or pop stuff, and then you or said person performs like a heavier, like a dubstep set or something like that? Like, just in general, have you ever ended up playing somewhere where you're the outcast?
Can I take this one quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So it's kind of cool because this kind of synthesizes our thoughts about when you're booked. It kind of pushes the idea to the limits. Are you going to do you, or is there some concept of a theme that you're trying to handle? So I got two situations. One, this is one of the most embarrassing things ever. I still feel terrible about it. I got booked to play an after party. I'm not an after party guy. I didn't know the vibe, and it was definitely like a, hey, let's chill and drink and talk after party. But all I brought was, hey, let's turn up dubstep. And
I had something like that too.
It was so bad, and I was so embarrassed. But anyway, it happened, whatever. So that situation, I wish I would have known the vibe going in, because it'd be like, oh, I've got house that I like. Sure, I'll play house. The other situation... I got booked to play the state fair, the Minnesota State Fair, like 4 years ago or something like that. Yeah. And the person before me was like an acoustic guitar, and the person after me was like a band. And at that point, you're just showcasing yourself. So I went as hard and as goofy as I could to be like, this is me for an hour. That you get exactly what I am. Hope you enjoy it. You can't please everybody, but I kind of find now too when I'm taking a booking, if they book you, do you. So even if there's only 4 people who came for you, they're not disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys think
I feel that, yeah. I kind of feel that. I mean,
I totally agree. And it's funny because I've come around to that. Basically, I started out doing what I was doing, and we made this whole scene, made this whole jungle movement in the U.S. And then for a couple of years, I did a few other genres, and I think towards maybe like the last 10 years or so, I started, I had so many friends, so many promoters and friends that did different types of shows. Like Zach, does Future Classic here. Devious One does a show called Future Classic, and he booked me for that. And I knew that he expected something a little bit different. So did that, and other shows where, like you were saying, in different venues where you might want to tailor it to the crowd. I just decided to simplify things and say, I'm just going to do me, and I'm going to play the music that I love. And I just made people aware, if you book me, I'm probably going to play mostly Jump Up.
I was going to say, hey, I mean, it's kind of up to the promoter. I mean, if the promoter is going to book you, he probably knows, or if he's done his homework, he should know what to expect to a degree. So you might as well just do you. And if he doesn't know, he's going to find out. By the way, Adrian's here. I'm going to go and bring him in.
Oh, so, yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Here we go. Wow. And hopefully I'll pick up here in a minute. So we have 2 scary promoters in here.
You're so nervous.
Oh, my God.
I definitely, I've played... I don't know. I'm known for playing these really heavy, ridiculous dubstep sets, but over the years I played Dark Side for a while, and I used to play Gabber a long time ago. And I like to play a deep dubstep set if I can sometimes, and breakcore and all that stuff. So I think it depends. You got to have the arsenal for it, and if you don't, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you stick to one thing, there's benefits to that. You're going to know it better. You're going to be better at doing it. Yeah. And then for me, I'm so ADHD, I just do a bunch of different stuff, but I would never I don't know.
That's a lot simpler.
If I couldn't fill a slot, I wouldn't take it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I guess it has to be a communication between the promoter and the artist, and say hey, can you play this? And the artist has to say, yes, I can, and if they can't, say no. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
What up, Adrian?
Yeah, what's going on?
Can you hear us?
You got sound?
Can we hear you?
No sound.
Up.
You did. Nothing? Nothing. Can't believe you've done this.
Oh, you know what I could do while we're waiting? I have in my possession an automaton. I'm so sad that you guys can't see it on Skype. So
I want to. You better. Hey, you send me a video of that right now. I can. Who got that for you? Tell me who got that.
What about now?
It's a wife nostalgia.
Hey, we can hear you.
Should I turn it up?
No, automaton.
Do you want to ask Adrian some Adrian questions before we get back to the chat questions?
Do you need me to turn it up at all?
I think you're good.
A little bit.
A touch would be nice.
Oh, well, yeah, what they said.
What about now?
That's good.
That's good. Yeah. So we got Adrian from St. Louis. I guess I'll say heavy bass underground music promoter.
Deep and heavy.
Deep
and heavy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, sure. We were talking about Paul's first show he threw. We're going back to 95. How far back can you go, Adrian?
I've been doing events on and off for about 7 years, but doing exactly what I do now, I've been doing it for about almost 5 years.
Sweet. Have you always been based in St. Louis, or did you live somewhere else? Or
no, I've always been in St. Louis. Yes.
Sweet.
What did you do before?
So I started out doing club promotions where, there'd be the model looking girls with bottle service and things like that. And believe it or not, but Then I went to a festival. I mean, I went to the Schwag Stocks. That's where I really got started and just wanting to be involved. And the Schwag Stock is a festival that used to exist where a lot of people would come together, and this band called the Schwag would play. They're a Grateful Dead cover band, and they would have side stages of electronic music. Now, back then, dubstep, like in 2008, 2009, really wasn't what it is today. But they would have like all kinds of different, electronic music at the time. It was all kind of jumbled together. I just didn't really know the difference. I just knew that I liked it. Well, then I came into the club promoting scene and did all that type of stuff. Ran a business with a couple of people, decided that I should just do my own thing. And then I was introduced into the scene through a good friend named Brandon with Further Sound, who did stuff in Chicago, and then he ended up moving here. And then we started doing bass music, and then I decided, well, I think I should just kind of do my own thing because I was footing the money, doing the work, doing the promoting, doing the Facebook, booking the artists, managing, making deposits. So I was like, you know what, I might as well just do this thing myself. And that's where the whole Yo Adrian Presents thing came about, and, I guess the rest is history.
Sweet! And I was just down there, and it was awesome. That was fun.
Yeah, that was
good
that
times.
was an awesome show. That was an awesome show.
Way too many homies on the stage. It was perfect. Playing drum and bass for I got to play drum and bass for like 35 minutes. And that is a blessing.
Hey, by the way, Infrasound, that tune you made.
Oh, yeah.
Not the event. Would you consider that jump up, or what is that?
No, it's halftime beat.
It's so frosty.
You got some 170 out there?
Yeah,
oh, dude, 180, son.
Yeah, that was 180. I mixed my. This is like another conversation. We can diverge into this later.
Yeah,
but I mixed my jump up at least 180, and I go up to 183. When I watched Magistrate in Minneapolis, he was playing 185. That's how fast he was playing his jump up. I was like, jeez.
The NX is talking about.
Oh man, who's the other person? It was I think it was a KJ.
Heist mixed fast too.
Heist. It was Heist. He was playing so fast. I did not expect that either, but I was into it. That was really cool.
Well, I like the upper tempos, and then it's like a little bit of a secret. If you don't do the master tempo, if you have a smaller sound system, you play stuff faster, it brings the sub bass line to higher frequencies so that things can kind of bang a little more. But
I noticed that, yeah.
I am surprised that Heist played that fast too, because he mixes kind of slow. Right. Like, I think he mixes kind of classic style, but he was still playing super fast.
me and a buddy Lance Blackout, we were playing around chopping like 200 at some point just to be.
You got to. If you got CDJs, you got to play dubstep at like 250.
850. 250. Yeah, that's what I meant.
I'll just stick to breakcore.
Speedcore, guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back. Jack, you got another question from the chat?
Yes.
I'm gonna BRB quick, but go for it.
Got a couple. This one's contentious too a lot of the time. Electrozard asks, from a producer perspective, how important is it to actually mix live? How much will the audience care compared to just making the perfect set ahead of time in Ableton? Or just pressing play and having an awesome set. I am angrily opinionated about pre-recorded sets, so maybe I should not answer the question because
let him know, man.
Don't get heated, man. Let it flame. Let it flame.
I mean, I could. The thing here, I'll just say it in like one short thing. To me, it doesn't matter if the audience cares or not. At the end of the day, what I'm doing is entirely motivated by trying to make better art. And if the people in the audience can't understand if it's good or not, that's not necessarily my fault. And I'm not really trying to impress them on a certain level, because there's two levels. And I was just hanging out with someone the other day that it's interesting because you kind of forget when you've been DJing for a long time that a lot of people don't really know what is happening behind the decks, and they don't know what's happening in the studio either.
They really don't at all.
No, and they have a different perspective on what makes music good or bad, because there's two things. There's music that's just appealing at first listen to anybody, right? And then in a lot of electronic music and a lot of the headier, underground stuff, whatever you want to call it, a lot of that stuff is interesting to some people because they know how it's made or they know what's happening. And I think that, for instance, if you know how to DJ just a little bit, you'll be way more blown away by someone who's a really talented DJ versus someone in the crowd who doesn't know how to DJ and has no idea what's going on. They won't be as excited about that set. So for me personally, I'm not even trying to impress anyone really at all, other than this like supreme being that doesn't exist. Like, I'm just trying to always get better and always continually, I don't know, pursue
your own personal excellence.
Yeah, saying get better is tough because, like, what is better? That's a whole other argument and conversation. But to me, I always want to, do more technical mixing, and that's my personal
Challenge yourself,
model on it.
Become the best you that you can become.
Right. And I think
that's the struggle.
The other thing I think too is I think it's kind of disingenuous, and I think you're kind of ripping people off if you're pretending to play live, and you're really not, because like the audience might not know if you are or not, but that makes them more easily manipulatable in a way, and they're expecting that you are playing live. They might know or not.
It's
they might
just
not
like when you throw nothing. When the dog's there and it goes and fetches the nothing. You know what I mean? That's me. Come on, don't do that.
Eventually it's going to figure it out.
Yeah, like eventually people...
Go ahead, Paul.
Dog's going to be like...
The thing is, you gotta remember too, there's somebody else behind the decks, and that is the promoter. And most of us are DJs.
I mean, yeah, if you're getting paid for this,
yeah, let me tell you,
that's dirty. That's
again,
dirty.
from my perspective, as a drum and bass DJ, it came up through the whole thing. Maybe it's a little bit different, but I'll tell you, straight up, if I know somebody's nobody I ever booked has ever played a pre-recorded set, but even like a pre-planned set or something where there's obviously something going on where they're not queuing things up, I simply wouldn't book somebody like that because I feel like I'm cheating the crowd. Even if they don't know, I know. I'll tell you, there was like a big name drum and bass DJ. I guess I could say his name because it was so long ago. This was like 2000.
Talking about Mr. Bishi.
No, I'm talking about DJ Fresh, actually. Fresh from Bad Company.
Oh.
He was booked to play here about 15 years.
Sorry.
And he's not in the chat, is he?
No.
Okay, so he was booked to play here in Minneapolis, and, wasn't really his fault, but at that time he was playing CDs, and he put his CDs in with his check luggage, which I'm still not sure why you would do that if that's why you're getting phones somewhere. But, of course, his CDs didn't show up, right? So he has absolutely nothing in hand, and comes to the show. And at that time, he was playing CDs. Most everybody else was a local DJ, a support DJ was playing vinyl. And he's standing there, and all he had in his hand was like a burned copy of a mix that he was about to put out that he had made a few weeks prior. He was going to make a release mix. And what he decided to do was just play this mix CD and for the crowd, and he just stood there and like tweaked a few knobs, just kind of was like,
he was basically a mime.
And coming up as far as like the drum and bass scene, it's just that kind of stuff just isn't done. And and the thing that I was disappointed in is the fact that all behind the stage, were about like five crates and bags full of records.
Oh yeah.
Anything did he?
Duh, he could have just mixed. Oh yeah.
In fact, if he had gone through those and asked the DJs, he probably could have got a whole set of his tunes, Bad Company tunes. And instead of just saying, okay, I'm gonna go right into it and we're just gonna do this, he just said, I'm not gonna deal with any of these people. I'm just gonna play my CD. Personally, not that it happened again. I really had the opportunity again, but I probably just wouldn't have booked him again, just because there's so many other people to book. Why would I book somebody that's half-assed?
Gotta leave a good impression, man.
Yeah.
And that ain't gonna do it.
Yeah. Needless to say, if you know DJ Fresh, he was kind of a dick about it. I mean, I have massive respect for him. Bad Company, huge respect for him, but people's personalities match up.
I know how it goes, man. I've met a few too. That's always super disappointing too. You're like, I used to look up to you.
I was just gonna say, one of the worst things about playing more shows and producing and like getting bigger or whatever is meeting people that you really looked up to and finding
all those sad crushed idols.
Point. That's something that we should talk about. If people in the chat and stuff want to know about how to conduct yourself as an up and coming DJ, let me tell you, the majority of the people that are successful, that rise to the upper echelon, the people that I work with as a promoter that I book, 98% of them are humble, They're
Yep.
they're good people.
Yeah.
They are self.
Rusko was one of the coolest people
Mhm.
in the world ever.
Rusko, yeah,
That
absolutely.
dude's killing it, and he's
And
awesome.
Andy C. He's just a dude. He doesn't
Oh,
come.
Andy C
at
is
you.
a legend.
He's happy to have be the position he's in, and he's in that position because he likes sharing music with people. And just the bottom line, like all the people that we mentioned here, like Magistrate, Heist, all those cats that I booked, they're just chill. They're cool people. They're humble, and they're not dicks. And the few people that I have booked that were kind of jerks, most of them probably aren't around anymore. And again, as a promoter, there's so many other people to choose from. I don't need to book those people again. So why would I, right?
Mm-hmm.
Adrian, did you get to throw in your 2 cents? I was
Well,
gone.
I think he pretty much covered everything that I would say on a promoter's aspect. I mean, do you really want to? I mean, from your peers aspect, do you really want to be respected by your peers and the people that you look up to, or are you pandering to an audience that really doesn't give a shit or understand what you're doing up there? A lot of people literally think that you are making the music as you're up there.
Number one DJ comment when you first start.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they think that you're literally
Dude,
a one-man band up there.
The Muggle struggle, man.
And you try to explain to them, no, that's a live PA set, and they're like, "What's that?" So
It's noise, just noise. That's it.
so
I was just saying.
not to restate what Paul eloquently and accurately said from a promoter standpoint. We just won't book you anymore. Like, we know the difference. We see that shit.
Right.
We understand it. We know how DJing is done. We've seen it a million times over, and 9 times out of 10, we do it ourselves. So if you really want to be better than the other 100,000 people that are around you trying to do the same damn thing, then do what it takes and put in the work and put in the extra hours to be the best artist that you can be. The best advice I could give is spending so much time outside of your studio and outside of the DJ booth working on your DJing and stuff like that, because DJing and producing are 2 separate things.
Right.
And back in the day, it was respected as such. Back in the day, it wasn't a thing where everyone wanted to come out and see the producer who made that track. It was the selectors and it was the DJs who properly presented that art form in the best way. Right. Now it's become one of those things where everyone wants to see the producer who made it, and they want to hear the song that they know and stuff like that. But
Producers a lot of the time can't DJ for crap.
A lot of them.
That's true. I was one of those. I'm still one of those sometimes.
You can mix.
And that's okay. That's okay. What I would rather see is somebody who does really good work and who is an okay DJ, but is actually doing it live and is, might have their live hiccups or whatever it is, but they're actually doing it, rather than somebody who's using the sync button or has something sort of Ableton and they're just kind of they're just kind of rising tracks and clicking the mouse and doing stuff like that. I have less respect for that type of person. And I'd be more apt to book somebody who has actually put in the time and the work outside of whatever it is to become the best artist that they could be.
I think there's a lot of opportunist promoters out there who just don't care too. And that's the unfortunate truth is people are getting away with pre-recorded sets and fake mixing and ghost producing and all this stuff because there's a lot of people honestly in the industry just trying to make money, I mean, that's a very real thing. But I think there's kind of two things about that. The silver lining is, one, I don't think that's sustainable because I think that as people learn more, they get tired of it and they don't go out to shows anymore. You get a lot of people that come into the scene at 18, 19 years old. They party for a couple years, and then once kind of the partying wears out and it loses its luster and they find out what's actually happening, they don't keep going to shows anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things I noticed out in Denver too, side note, is there's a lot of older guys out here that still come out. And there's a lot of people who really appreciate the music. But then, so the second thing, the silver lining is, as more people learn how to DJ, and I know that a lot of people really hate on the fact that there's so many DJs out there right now. And I can see why it causes burnout and why it's frustrating to people because there's oversaturation in a lot of markets. But I think that the more people who have a hobbyist mentality about DJing and know what's happening, the more you have a critical audience who will see like a pre-recorded set happening and they won't support that artist anymore. So I think,
and I would say too, I think the main issue for me at least is if you're gonna do a pre-recorded set, let everybody know. Like, be dancing,
might as well.
you know, or be cueing lights, or like bringing people on stage and doing crazy stuff. Like,
no.
Perform somehow. Perform
No,
somehow.
you need no. This is what you need to do. You need to get on a raft, and you need to have the crowd pitch you around on the raft, and you need to throw cake. You need to throw cake at everybody. That's what you need.
Get a whirlpool man going.
Don't tell everybody that idea, man. We gotta like do this.
Cut that out.
Let's get to a different question. What else we got rolling through here?
Heretic has been asking about this one too in the chat for a little bit. He says, "How do you feel about people who bring and use controllers, and are you but do so because of the added features for live edits and remixing?"
Let's go to Adrian first.
Andrew.
Adrian,
you want to answer that one first?
What's the question? What's the question? Sorry.
This guy.
How do you feel about people who bring / use controllers, but do so because of the added features for live edits and remixing?
Okay, I've been approached about this question multiple times. I'm really glad that you asked it. Okay, so I have no problem with controllerism. Controllerism is its own. It's like its own thing. If you're using a controller just to mix and not using the controller to its fullest abilities, then that is one of those things that in me as a promoter and as an artist frown upon. I don't want to see you with your hands in the air while you're just using the controller to mix. Now, if you're using the controller and you're using like the loop roll, and then you're having your live decks over here, then you're doing one of these other decks and doing a remix decks and doing stuff like that. That's really awesome.
Yeah,
I really like seeing stuff like that. But if you're using a controller because you're too lazy to use the controller to its full abilities, or too lazy to learn how to mix by ear, that's also the biggest problem that I have with people who use controllers is they don't know how to effing mix by ear, and that's really annoying. And you're setting yourself on a very dangerous plateau that a lot of people don't really get out of because they're limiting themselves on what they're doing with what they have. Yeah. Now, I learned on a controller. I started DJing on a Hercules, whatever, those little things you can put in your back pocket.
You got free headphones, though.
I did. But the thing is like you need to start out sometimes in that elementary way to learn how DJing works. Oh wait, I can't mix these songs together very well because they're not even anywhere near the same BPM. It's gonna sound like crap. But if you're sitting there and you're once again using it to its full potential, actually performing controllerism and not just DJing with it. I mean, the same thing goes with Ableton DJing. I have no problem with people who DJ on Ableton if you're doing a badass job. If you're using Ableton to sit there just so that the songs mix together while you finger gun the crowd and do whatever, I mean, that to me is laziness. I mean, what we're getting down to is just laziness. If you are a lazy person, don't expect good results.
It's like if you have a Lamborghini, don't do 60 on the highway. Yeah. I mean, come on.
I mean, no one wants to see the DJ that has this look on his face. No one wants to see that. I mean, people want to see what you're doing. I mean, if you need to use the controller to mix by ear, by all means, do all that. I highly encourage people, it doesn't matter what you use. I see some of the greatest DJs of all time who have moved to controllers just because they want to have that same standard. They don't want to have some sort of ridiculous rider or setup or something like that. But you should really be proficient in all mediums. So whether it's mixing vinyl, you should know how to mix vinyl. You should know how to use any controller that you walk up to. You should know how to use CDJs. And if you know how to use all three of those things to their fullest potential, then you're going to be great. I mean, you're going to be able to use whatever comes up to you. I'll end on this real quick. I know it's a long answer, but the group Terra Vita. I don't know if you guys know who those guys are. It's a group of three people. Two of them are the producers and one of them is the MC. They came to 2720 one time, which is a good venue in St. Louis on a Sunday night. The city made them close the show down early. I called up my buddies at the upstairs lounge, and we went over there. That place goes till 3 a.m. We got up there. They need a very specific type of mixer so that their little MacBook could plug directly into the USB so that they could just use internal and just launch the songs through Ableton and whatever. And I was just like, and their music is, while it's very well produced, it's still kind of like bro step and trendy. Well, when we got to the lounge, the mixer that I brought, I thought was a Nexus 2000, and in fact was not, and they could not play internally. And they said, "Oh, well, we'll just play up here." Well, the night that was going on was an all drum and bass vinyl night, okay? And so I'm like, "Oh my God, this is going to be a complete shit show." These guys just want to DJ, and they're going to start grabbing out of my friends' bags and whatever.
Oh,
all right,
man.
whatever. So what happens? They killed it. They played seamlessly. The guy was up there emceeing, and this guy was he was playing through 3 people's different drum and bass bags, and they fucking annihilated it.
Yeah.
What did
And I
you
was
say
like,
this was again?
Terra Vita.
This
They're
is terrible.
Oh, they used to produce.
I didn't see that coming. I thought I was thinking train wreck or something.
They've been around.
That's crazy.
That's what I thought was good because they
That's
had been
crazy.
drinking. Their show ended early, and I'm sure they just wanted to DJ. And I was like, this is going to be a complete shit show, but whatever.
That's awesome.
I can't believe I stopped these guys' vinyl night so that this bullshit could happen. But anyway, they ended up killing it. And that was one of the most impressive things that I have ever seen.
That's great.
Because they got in there, and of course they told me, oh, yeah, we used to own a record shop in L.A. We know all these tracks. But, I mean, that was beside the point. They got up there, and they absolutely annihilated it. And
Dude, we need to practice more vinyl now.
I'm getting excited.
Well, encouraged me, yeah.
hey, come on over, baby. You know who's got the
It's
best
going
vinyl.
down, baby.
You know
this
who's got
guy's
the
vinyl collection. His tagline is "Got it on vinyl." Just saying.
When the first time I played Concrete Jungle, I think I brought my little Vestax VCI 100, and I had a circle of DJs around me trying to hold back the laughter, and I was like, guys, I got this.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Actually, is I totally admit that as a drum and bass DJ and as part of that scene a long time, we have a bit of a attitude sometimes with the stuff. We all came up through the dub plate culture, the vinyl days.
Passion, man, passion.
I'd say that the drum bass guys, we probably were the lastest to even move from vinyl. A lot of us, some people still will only play vinyl or have gone back to it even. And I will say, as even myself, as a promoter, as a DJ, I'm very skeptical when people have come into into Concrete Jungle or Urban Agenda with controllers. Generally, I assume that unless if there was somebody like Terra Vita or somebody huge, hey, wow, what are they gonna blow me away, right? But as somebody who's just starting out, they bring a controller. It's just sort of an amateur move to me.
Yeah.
Just not big on controllers. If nothing else, I have to move my whole setup. Separate area off to the side, and the crowd's over here, and they're over here. It's just like vibes.
Transition.
And I remember when Casper, is very very acclaimed now drum and bass producer, and he's just doing amazing things. But he started out at Concrete Jungle. His first gigs were there. And he had bought one of those huge NS7 controllers.
Those are huge.
Oh, my
Yeah.
Newmark, the cardboard box, and he came into the club carrying this huge box.
Yep. I remember those days. I used to carry my cardboard box controller all up and down Barfly, so
yeah.
I parked blocks away.
At a drum and bass show with a controller, you are going to get some looks, and you're
yeah.
To be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing with that too is mostly what I've seen the last few years, the last probably decade, it's been obviously most of the DJs that are playing drum and bass have been moving to laptops, to DVS, and that seemed like everybody was either on Tractor or Serato for the last 7 or 8 years, myself included. I've actually moved back to I've moved to CDJs, I've moved to Record Box. For me, it's a great move, but God, I tell you, it just really sucks when you have all these different people. At every set, we have to change the setup. Every set's got to be a different box. People are pulling wires out, and it's just guaranteed. And you're gonna have like 2 to 3 minutes of dead air every other hour, probably, and that just kind of blows. And there isn't much we can do about that until we all come to a standard. But I do see, I think, a big move away from laptops. Even controllers, I think Pioneers, what they're doing with Record Box, it's really gonna corner the market in the industry. But that's just my personal opinion.
Let's pause for a second. We got Zach from Sim Shows who's here. He was stuck in traffic. I'm gonna attempt to add him to this call.
If it doesn't work, have him add me. Here, I'll put my name in the call.
Hey,
So-
huge ups for Traffic Gang today.
Right.
Holding us back.
Yeah.
Shout out to the chat. Thanks for being interactive today. This is good. We're hoping that you could generate a lot of the questions and topics today. So
Yeah, I've got 4 more questions still. So
sweet. Let's see if Zach.
some of them are related. We could knock through them real quick. I mean, like, Pathetic Jones said he still plans his sets by song when it's a bigger opportunity. Is that still good? I've done that, honestly, several times.
What was it again? What was it again? I missed it.
Pathetic Jones still plans his sets. I'm assuming he means
Planning
he
sets?
develops a track
Yeah.
beforehand, and it really depends on the gig. Because sometimes I'm going into it and I want to work a crowd, and sometimes I'm going into it and I just want to show them these tunes that I have in its specific order, and I want to tell a story. So I don't know. It just depends. You got to do what you're going to do and do it to the best of your ability. It's really the end of the story, you know. And don't be lazy and don't be manipulative.
Stop it. Stop being lazy and manipulative.
Stop it.
Yeah.
I think the theme of everything when it comes down to it, like you just said, don't be lazy.
Yeah.
So
Simple as that, man. I mean, you get fired at a job if you're lazy. The same thing.
Well, it's crazy too, because like, I wonder what other jobs there are that you can be so lazy at and kind of get away with it for a long time. You know,
I wonder. Yeah, you know.
DJing, like you can kind of just put on a banger and then just get wasted, and you're like not serving the crowd to the full potential. You're not really earning your money, but like. No one's gonna maybe yell at you unless you're really trashy and knock over a table. Like, what's their faces? Right. But you know, it's I don't know. It's supposed to be about the music. You know, we're supposed to be doing this because we love the music. You know, that's what I thought. I don't know.
Yeah.
What up to Zach? Hey man, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, you're coming in loud and clear as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
Good audio.
Sweet. We got Zach from Minneapolis Sim Shows, and Steven was telling me you work with Somerset Music Festival too.
Not really so much anymore, actually. I actually haven't really. I used to do stuff for them creatively a couple years ago, but I actually stepped away from that just because it was kind of a lot of work on top of everything else I was doing. So kind of haven't been involved with that for a little while. But I mean, I do know the back end of it pretty well. So
Nice. What kind of stuff do you find yourself getting into recently?
Oh man, so well, you mentioned I had spent some years with Sim, and I actually stepped away from working with Sim recently. And now I'm kind of just, I tell people I retired from Sim, I guess. It was just a lot of work going on, and I'd say I wasn't really into a lot of the music we were bringing. I didn't really enjoy it, so I'm kind of just out here on my own now, doing just whatever, taking whatever gigs, but well, not whatever gigs, playing gigs that I can actually play the music I like to play, which is straight up house music.
Nice.
For sure. Yeah, I was about to ask what you were into these days too.
I mean, I've I've done a lot of different things, playing pretty much any type of 4 to the floor that you can imagine the last few years. But I used to do a lot of top 40 stuff, and now I'm out of that these days. It's not me anymore. It's not what I do, and I'm sticking to what I love to do, because other's I think I was
There's
ready.
a theme here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Redline Reload has a theme, a vibe. I want to reintroduce everybody now that we got the full cast. So we've got me, I'm Nostalgia. Hello. We got Suboxide, part of the Hangout crew. Johnny Foreplay, part of the Hangout crew, helping interview and keep the conversation going today. Our special guests are Paul Easyrider, promoter of Minneapolis, Adrian Gee, from St. Louis. Yo, Adrian presents. And then we got Zach from Minneapolis as well. So shout out to you guys. Thanks for joining us. Jack, hit us with a good one. Hit us with a stinker.
A good one?
Yeah.
I found a question that's pretty good.
Yo, go ahead.
Yeah, which one?
All right. So, what's his name? Phantom Sage asked a pretty good question because he wants to eventually move on to live MIDI controllers with the mic. He asked, Should I just not DJ live on my controller until I have the pro equipment that I want to use? I added that at the end. I don't want to tarnish my name by using beginner tools. And then he goes on to follow up and saying something about, I don't want to use CDJs at all. I want to live perform on stage with MIDI controllers and actual instruments and a nice vocal mic.
I guess there's some interesting aspects to that question. Consider the gigs that you're taking and consider the fact that at some point when you take a gig, you're telling everybody this isn't a work in progress necessarily. You're like, this is me. This is what I'm doing. Judge my performance. You're here. Did you like it? Did you not? Because the people that see you at that moment are going to, either like it or dislike it and remember that. So if you feel like if you're killing it on the current gear you have and you love your set, go do it. If you feel like it's kind of holding you back or you're not quite ready yet or something like that, or it's like a work in progress, I would do house parties a lot. I would do college stuff. House parties are a great time to try stuff because they don't care.
Yeah. No one cares at all. They do not care. It's great.
They're going to love it if it's loud.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
So anybody else want to speak to that? That was just my thoughts there.
Shouts to Hesh.
Yo, Hesh, what up?
Wow.
Yeah, I got Verb. I'm sorry. Verb on the call.
Man,
yeah, I think I'd pop to answer that in the chat. I just said, if you know a promoter, if you're working with somebody that who's not going to humiliate you in front of everybody or something like that, work with those people maybe as an opening slot. Also, just make sure that the promoter knows that you're bringing something like that too.
Yeah.
Just get a hold of them in advance and tell them what you're trying to do, because that's going to help a lot. We'll make room for it.
Definitely. I think, like what he said, I think most promoters these days are pretty accommodating of what they can do. But, going back to the whole house party thing, I remember when I was starting out, we just threw parties with my friends and I was on a couple different random controllers, and they're so forgiving. It was just a reason to throw a party in practice,
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if everyone here would agree with me, but I don't think you should wait till you have the gear that you want to use. I think
I agree.
Play out everything and anything you can. It'll make you better.
I think you got to be versatile. I've seen people come down and play in the nightclub and something goes wrong and something doesn't work with the gear, and they can switch and still use a different piece of gear to do their set because they've been versatile and they've mastered that different aspects of playing. So definitely expand and be versatile with what you can
More
do.
Stuff. You can't just do push-ups all day.
I think
Right.
Yeah,
You gotta be
true.
flexible.
Don't skip leg
jumping
day.
jacks.
Yeah,
Don't skip
that's
leg day. Never skip leg day. Don't be that guy.
I think that since in the past couple of years, since I always call it the EDM boom, but since 2012, really, since everything was huge and that big bubble happened
In US.
I think that we lost Zach. Did we lose
right.
Zach?
Oh,
But I think that since then, I know I've gotten really soft, because I remember before that I used to play on such janky stuff all the time. You would show up and you always wanted it. When I was playing vinyl, you always wanted to have Tech 12s. Well, not everyone always had Tech 12s, and you'd have to put pennies on the not the needle, but the I can't think of the term.
Head shell?
The cartridge, the head shell, yeah. And then over the years before CDJs were really standard, you'd have weird CDJs that weren't Pioneer ones that had all different features, and there's always some kind of weird mixer. And I hated those days because it was always so nerve-wracking, but at the same time, I think that being forced into all those weird mixing situations was so beneficial to how I DJ, because it got me to realize what's really important and what's good to get better at, and how I guess having the context of using all the different gear kind of showed me exactly how it really works. And
challenging yourself,
actually
yeah.
doing.
I feel the same way, man. I mean, I've definitely GJ'd on some really janky gear before, and I notice pretty much any time I perform, almost always, there's some challenge that I did not anticipate. And at this point, I always expect something to go wrong.
That's
and
definitely part of it.
It's not always a bad thing. It's just part of the flow. You know, you're gonna hit bumps here and there, and it's gonna to me it's a little bit more fun. It's like it's exciting. You know, it's like something. It's like, all right, I have this. I got to do it now. It trains you to be better. You know what I mean, in a way. So
it does look weak when you're at a show and something goes wrong and the DJ puts his hands up and he just can't fix the problem. If everything wasn't perfect, they can't.
Who was it that told me to do that? Was it you?
Well,
told me if something goes wrong, just.
That is like, I tell people that when I'm giving DJ lessons, if the sound cuts, just put your hands up and yell. Or like if you stop the wrong deck, just put your hands up and be like, what up? But like, what I'm saying is like, if something goes wrong and they're like, I can't fix this. You know, like I can't hear my headphones or something's not working. And you know, they don't like try to troubleshoot. They don't go look for somebody to try to fix it. Like they don't try to make it work. It does look pretty weak, you know?
Yeah, I feel
that's a good point. You know, I would be this is always surprising me how some of these just don't have backup. Just have at least one fail-safe.
4 USBs.
Yeah. I mean,
USBs
hey
Joe,
like
where'd you learn that from?
Why wouldn't you just throw a bunch of chips on USB, even if they're not formatted for a record box, just so you have them and just pop them into the CDJs? If you are doing something like Tractor, Serato, you are gonna have problems. You're gonna run into issues.
Oh yeah.
One of the bass gasms, Hulk came. And they were using burned timecode discs, and of course they didn't work, and they had no backup, and it was just 20 minutes of dead air in the main room, First Avenue at Bassgasm. I mean, people are coming up to me going, "What's going on?" It wasn't even my show, and I'm just like,
"Yeah,
it was just a really bad look."
I'm the go-to guy.
I was gonna say
back.
Quick side note there, aspiring DJs always keep headphones, or at least always keep your music on you, so that when the music cuts for 20 minutes and the DJ can't play anymore, you can be there and you be like, hey, I can play.
Get up there and play.
Infrasound. Our beach set.
Yeah, we had that sick tag and infrasound. I mean, I've done that like a million times at Barfly. You know, I think there's always a couple of us chomping at the bit, like, oh, they can't make it. Oh, they're late. Oh, that's fine. I can just play a little bit.
Got some USBs on deck. Always bring them around with you. I go to work with USBs sometimes. I mean, it's like whatever. Want to go home? Hey, I got some CDJs at the house. All right, cool. Let's go. Let's get.
What happened to me even further this past week? Danny and Wildshot couldn't make a set, and I ended up playing his set, and I was just like, man, I was like, woo, this is my moment.
Right? Hey, that's it. That's it, man. Who's the new headline? Who's the new?
It's always a rush when that happens.
I think it all comes back to being familiar on all mediums and just being ready. I mean, a lot of people will say, oh, wow, he's really lucky. Well, luck is, by definition, where opportunity meets preparedness.
Right.
So if you're ready for that, then you'll be down for it. One time we had a guy, I won't say his name, but I'm sure we all know who it is, this really big jerk at a show, who was so messed up in front of 400 people that he could not operate the equipment, period.
Yeah.
So you remember that, Joe? And he was in front of all these people. He was on the microphone, shouting out the promoter, getting mad. Yeah. While there was a guy that was standing there who I knew how to play, and he got up and he played instead in front of 400 people where he wasn't normally being able to play because he was ready. He had his USBs on him, and he was just standing right there. So he was in shock. He's like, "Are you serious? You're gonna let me play right now?" I'm like, "Well, he can't play." So
and that's a really good point. It's something that that's a point that I actually wanted to make when I was thinking about what we're going to be talking about here. It's kind of funny because I'm no angel, and back in the '90s and the early 2000s, I kind of probably cultivated a bit of a wild man image. But talking about drugs and stuff on stage and stuff, that's definitely something that people need to. If you want to succeed and you want to be known as somebody who's a good DJ or a performer. You gotta keep your wits about you. Being a promoter, a DJ, or a lighting person, or any of these back office type people in the clubs and the venues, it's kind of like being a designated driver. You got all these people doing this crazy stuff, but you're the one that's controlling the vibe. And if you get so lit that you can't do what you're supposed to do, or as a promoter that I don't want to talk to you, I'm probably not going to fight you back. And so don't be that guy who's constantly on the verge of getting kicked out or so drunk that you're just annoying. I mean,
stay professional.
Yeah. And I mean, I say that, like I say, I'm not anti-drug or anything like that, but somebody like Ricardo Villalobos kind of looks like a tornado of drugs, but that's making kind of his image. But I guarantee you that he has a team of people probably behind him, a manager, handlers that are making sure that he's where he's supposed to be. If you are so lit that you're not answering your Facebook messages or emails and you can't do what you're supposed to do, you're gonna fade. You're gonna just fade. So I like to party. Everybody likes to have a good time. But if you're booked for a show, don't get so messed up that you can't do what you came there for.
Gotta keep it real.
Yeah, that's huge. A lot of people just don't care about that. It seems like, especially
living the party life too hard.
I think people
gotta have the
I
balance.
would like to point out really quickly that you're not the only one that looks good with your shirt off. I'm just saying. I don't know if you noticed.
Don't make me. You know it's true. But notice that, baby.
I feel like Suboxide used to say this all the time, like even on our show and in other times, and I really appreciated it. But he would say, "Do you realize how much of a privilege it is that you're up there too? And if you're not going to do your best and represent your music and do your job, it's sad, and you're letting a lot of people down." So it's something that kind of helps me as well, because like I have a lot of pressure on myself to entertain every single person in there the best I can. You know,
make their night. Make that night one for the books, man.
Mm-hmm.
Leave your impression.
I do want to jump in here on this because I feel like that's one of the reasons why I actually wanted to stop doing sort of like the nightclub thing, like the top 40 residency stuff, is because, for me, that music and that sort of nightlife ended up being so empty. It's like every weekend I was going out playing these tracks, this music I didn't really care about, and the only way I could feel like I was getting a connection is like all these people coming down drinking, so I would drink a lot too. And it would just end up being super empty. And at the end of the night, I played maybe for a couple hours and made some money, which was cool, but like it wasn't rewarding in any way. And all I was doing was just getting drunk on a Friday, and then on a Saturday, and the next weekend it was getting drunk on a Friday and a Saturday and playing music I didn't care about.
Spiral.
And after a while, it just weighs on you, and you're just like, man, like, whoa, you got to kind of re-examine what you're doing. And, I think that was a huge reason. And I thought about what people were seeing of me up there, and it's like I was hearing from some people, it's like, man, you're kind of like a partier, you like to get messed up and DJ. It's like, that's not me at all. I'm there because it's just like there's no other way to enjoy this situation. And so that's huge reason why I stepped back from doing that stuff that I'm just not interested in anymore.
That's a different vibe for sure.
The same way. I did kind of the same thing. A couple years. It's not like I was playing like top 40 or anything, but I was definitely playing like the top 40 of my genre. You know what I mean? I was playing the tunes I was selecting and playing. It was every time I was like, oh, I want to play this because the crowd's going to go nuts. Oh, I want to play this because everyone loves this tune. And and I also had cultivated oh, this guy's a partier, like let's party with them all the time. And I think it's get away from that for sure. Also, that wears you down, man. Partying every weekend like that, it's just not good for your health.
Oh no, not at all.
It's so weird how like I did all my partying stuff before I even discovered the scene. When I got in the scene, I was just like in it for the music. It's so weird how that works out, because it's like I kind of getting vibes from when I was 15 here. But I love the sound. I'm here for the sound. It's like it's interesting how it works out.
You sound like TK Vicious.
Yeah.
Got lucky. I don't know.
What were you going to say, Adrian?
So a couple of things, and I'll be backtracking on some other points. So to follow up on Phantom Sages and the comments on that, if you're trying to do that, make sure people know that it's a DJ set or it's a live set. So that's what I have to say about that, especially if you're going to do that. And label your sets as such so that people will know that you have a project coming in the future that's going to be unlike what you're doing now. So moving on to what you're just saying, Johnny, about the playing songs that you just know people will like. I think it's important to put songs like that into your set, because just like anything else, especially when it comes to promoting, and because we all know, I mean, Paul, what sells a bunch of tickets. We all know what does that, but most of the time that's not what we're interested in. So sometimes you have to give people what they want to hear, and then you sprinkle in the things that you want them to hear. So if you put in a 1 or 2, 3 songs that you know everyone's going to get down to, but then surround it with a bunch of other songs that you really want them to hear, you just might turn them on to something, as opposed to just trying to shove your agenda down their throat the entire time. So I think that's pretty important too. Another thing is that I totally forgot what I was going to say. So next question.
Yeah, let's move. Let's move. What else we got here?
Yeah, I want to get to
I figure we'll go a little long today. If anybody has to peace out, that's cool. Because everybody kind of cascaded in. I want to.
I'm enjoying this.
I'm down. I'm down to go for another half an hour at least, for sure.
Yeah, I always go really long. So.
Oh my God.
Let's all get really close to the microphone. All right, give us a question.
All right. Do we want the basic one or the really long, complicated one?
Basic one, please. I need a refresh. Just
Yeah.
I thought we were going long.
Yeah.
all right.
Just a pretty simple question for the promoters. From Hash Dubs, just what do promoters look for when they book an artist?
And let's start with Paul.
Is this? Hold on. Is this Hesh? Like Hesh?
Hesh.
We're looking
Whoa.
for you, Hesh.
Hesh makes really awesome dubstep Hesh.
Yeah.
Hesh
he's
does,
pretty good.
and I thought I saw Solé in there. If
Oh, he's in
anybody's
there.
not
Oh,
familiar,
Solly's in there.
is Skylar
He's trolling though.
Skylar? Oh my goodness! Hey, listen, if you guys don't know who Solé is, look him up now. But go on with the answer.
There's two ways to answer. There's a couple of different ways to answer that. Me as a promoter, as a promoter that I've been, I could probably still count on both hands the number of times I've broke even on shows in the last 20 years. I mean, or at least made money, I should say. It's a labor of love for me. The drum and bass music. If I wanted to just make money with promoting, I obviously wouldn't be doing drum and bass.
Yeah,
bass
not
music.
in the U.S. probably.
Not in the U.S.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
very
Yeah.
sad, Panda.
But
Drum
so
bass sucks.
my priorities are bringing music to the masses and that I love. So if I'm looking at a headliner that I'm booking, let's be perfectly honest. If I'm booking a headliner, if I'm flying somebody in, it's something that I want to present to the people that I feel like I'm excited about, and I want others to share that. Probably 80% of the time, at least. And then for the rest of the lineup, I'm looking for people that know what they're doing. They're gonna support the show well, and as local DJs, I'm looking for people that are gonna promote the show. On their social media, they're gonna be excited about it. They're gonna tell their friends, word of mouth, social media. They're gonna help basically spread the word about the show as well as perform and do a good job. So they kind of have, there's some other factors there, to be perfectly honest. And some people may feel differently about that, but that's what I'm looking for. So if I book somebody, and even if they're a good DJ, but I don't see them share the event on their page or tell anybody about it, I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. If they're local, if it's somebody like somebody from the UK, obviously I don't expect them to jump on my event page most of the time, and pump their mixes out and stuff. That's my job. But so there's two ways to answer that.
It's good.
Don't be lazy.
Yeah,
Don't be lazy.
It's good
Don't
you
be
brought that
lazy.
up.
Don't
I
be
was gonna
lazy.
say, I think sometimes people don't think about it, because you're not asking them to pay to play, but you are saying, hey, support the scene, support the show you're on. Don't you want your friends to come? But it's good because I'm gonna be honest, I would forget to do crap like that sometimes, which seems so ridiculous. But the things I
but you're a
forget is
superstar.
also ridiculous. Exactly, dude. Like, what the hell?
I've got to agree with Paul here on a lot of these things. It can be complicated. I can tell you, I've done a lot of local bookings in the last 2.5 to 3 years for Sim, and for mostly on that smaller nightclub level for the Rev Ultra Lounge. I've done a lot of local bookings, but it can be complicated sometimes, because you do want to find. Sometimes you need to find people who can fit the vibe of the night, but sometimes as a promoter, you can see that a show isn't selling so hot before that, so then maybe you do need to find someone who can fit the criteria of who is going to bring in some more local people. But that's such a double-edged sword, because sometimes people play, you can't, you can book a guy who plays out all the time, and then maybe their crowd just doesn't show up because they say, why would I see him here when I can see them there? And so there's so many factors involved, and it's when you're in a scene where there's just such a huge pool of people to choose from, you just sometimes you don't make the right choice when it comes to booking.
Yeah. It's almost like there's 3 tiers then. I mean, there's the headliners who you hope people are going to come to see. Then there's like another tier where maybe they're a little bit more experienced and maybe you don't expect them to constantly pump out the event. But I'll tell you, for an opening DJ, if I'm booking an opening DJ, that's where I expect them to at least be able to play well. But if there's somebody that doesn't have a following, I really expect them to push it out, on social media and get their friends to go.
Yeah. Agreed.
So,
someone who's definitely excited and
and I'll book them again if they can do that and play well. Hey man, you're my guy. That's great.
Definitely.
Me personally, I tend to pick and choose who I want to be on my events. And if there's people who are, every time you do a show, there's a whole bunch of people coming up to you. Oh my God, I want to be on the next thing. Blah, 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 blah. And what I do is I put them through the fucking ringer. I make them do a whole bunch of stuff. I'll make them do a fresh mix.
Okay.
All right, I want it this way. I want it da-da-da-da-da. Then I want you to do this, and I want you to do that. And usually I can whittle it down to the 1 or 2 people who are really actually serious and have the heart that want to do it.
Yeah.
Because for me, if you don't produce music, good luck on getting my events.
This guy.
Because there's so many people that I can choose for, and I'm talking mainly for dub roots. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how often are you going to see somebody who doesn't produce on one of my dub roots events? Probably not going to happen. But on something like Homeschool, which is like a little bit more of a broad range of styles and kind of a celebration of local music, that's a little bit different. But if there's somebody who's genuinely interested in becoming a part of something like this, I mean, come on, put them through the ringer, make them do a whole bunch of stuff to show that they are actually serious and they're in it for the right reasons. Because that's the only type of people that me personally as a promoter, as somebody who tries to curate and cultivate our scene, that's the only type of people that I'm genuinely interested in, as people who are genuinely interested in doing it for real.
It's almost like you shouldn't have to even say that stuff. All that stuff that you mentioned, the people should be doing that anyways. If they're DJs, if they love music, they should be making mixes. They should be promoting the music. They should be promoting other people's events even if they're not on it. All that stuff you mentioned, that's stuff that we used to do because we didn't know what else to do back in the
Right.
This is it.
Well, it's really important to support what you want to be a part of. I always tell people that. Support what you want to be a part of.
Absolutely.
If you sit there and you have these expectations and all this other stuff, and you're the brightest kid in your kindergarten class because you got a bunch of your homies who think you're really good. This is what I was going to say. For the house parties thing, playing house parties is a really awesome way to practice and do stuff like that. But you really need to get out and play live because that's going to be the ultimate test of how good you really are. You can be your friends are your worst fans. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that. Your friends
always
are
gonna
your
tell you.
worst fans.
That's true, man.
That's true.
They're always gonna tell you how great you are, and you might be horrible. You need to go out. You need to go out and put your foot in the water and get your dick wet and see what's really going on.
My dick's not on my foot, dude.
You gotta be really dexterous. You gotta be.
This conversation segues really good into another topic, though, and
Bring it.
Or another question. And Phantom Sage asks, why do so many promoters book DJs over producers? I know many local DJs who are amazing, but the promoters there would rather book a DJ that they already know who doesn't make their own music than a producer that they don't know too well, despite how good they are at their craft. What do you think of this? I think there's a lot of different kind of questions.
This is so good.
Adrian and Zach are just chomping at the bit.
Zach,
I'm ready.
take it away.
Let's start with Zach.
Well, okay, so this is a good thing here because this is it's so contingent on a number of things, and who was with the microphone talking before. I'm sorry, I don't remember everyone's name here. Adrian, yeah. I think it's important that you mention that you book people who make their own music because I think it makes a lot of sense for the scene that you're doing. I know if you're doing a lot of dubstep stuff here or a lot of breakbeat stuff in Minneapolis, like that community is super open to new artists, and they're super open to music they haven't heard before. But I mean, I've been really ingrained in the house, in a lot of house music, a lot of nightclub stuff in the last few years, and those people, you know, they don't care if they haven't heard of you. They don't care if they don't care if they make you playing a song that you make. They just don't care. But that's a different topic, I think. Back to the old question, but booking people who make their own music versus don't. I mean, I make a couple tracks here and there, and most people will never hear them. I don't make a lot of music. I probably make the least amount of music in this chat than you guys, and I have been booked a lot the last few years. You know, it's in honestly, to answer his question, sometimes people just don't care if you make your own music or not, and that's the harsh reality. And I know that firsthand. And it's different with the scenes you're in. And sometimes you're in a scene where people are open to it and receptive to it. Sometimes you're not. And in Minneapolis, we have such a wide range of scenes that, you know, there's a scene where people are interested and there's people that aren't. And for me, I had found myself in a scene where people just didn't really care if you made your own music or not. And there you go.
Hey Joe, we've got one of those in St. Louis.
I wasn't paying attention. I mean, I was, but I don't know who you're referring to.
Well, basically what he's saying is that there's in a lot of larger music communities, it's like I think overall it's a good thing because there's different little stepping stones and there's different promotion companies that do different things. It's all comes down to what do you hold in high regard? Do you want to be known as somebody who it doesn't really matter who you're playing in front of, they're just going to love you for what you're doing or whatever? Or do you want to be respected by your peers and take it up a notch and be a part of events that are prestigious and the promoters are very selective on who they put on there and stuff like that? I mean, if you really wanted to, you could DJ every single day of the week, but what's that going to do? Is that self-serving, or are you going to do that to become greater? It's all about what you're in it for when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I feel it.
He added that he's noticed this specifically in Denver. I've been out here for a minute, and I still don't understand how all the scene works out here, so I can't really talk on that. But what I wanted to say was when I used to throw shows for just a little bit in like 2008 to like 2011, and I think that one thing that a lot of people miss is that promoters are humans. They're just people. Right? And they don't have a master list in their mind of every single up-and-coming DJ in town who exists. So if you're not constantly on their radar and constantly out at shows, talking to them, networking, you know, like Paul was saying earlier, you really have to be out there, and Adrian was saying you have to be out there supporting, you have to be in their ear constantly, and you have to be putting out mixes, and people have to know you because they're humans, and they're going to know. When I was promoting, I pretty much had all the time 20 to 30 people who were always talking to me about playing shows. And maybe they weren't the best in town always, but they were always in my face about it, and I knew they existed. So I booked them because I knew they were there, and I knew they were good enough, and I knew that they would fill the slots that I needed them to fill. So that's just kind of how it ended up happening.
Example, I don't know if you guys know Apparition, who's on this channel, Eric. I think he's a very good example of someone. First of all, he's a great DJ.
DJ,
but
he's coming to St. Louis.
Yes.
He's coming to St.
Yes.
Yes. Good. He deserves it. But like, if you want to model positivity for your scene, he's a great guy to look after. He's always posting about shows. He's always posting about how excited he is, and he's going to shows when he can. Because I know he works a ton at his restaurant, you know. But he's putting in the practice time. He's doing all the right things, and it's cool because he really is building himself up. He's playing Dance Festopia and stuff, but like he's getting bookings out of state as a DJ. Just a DJ, which is really impressive in 2016.
Yeah, it really is.
October 3rd, man.
I'll tell you, there's a perfect example. Apparition is one of the few newer, younger cats that kind of broke into the circle with KJ and then Urban Agenda when we're doing that. A perfect example, somebody who came to the shows, was positive, promoting the shows, like, hey, this is a great show, even when he wasn't booked for it. and
Right.
I knew how to get a hold of him, and I knew they would bring the ruckus when he's on the decks. And man, I just every time I'd be like, who are we gonna book? We got a 10 o'clock slot or 11 o'clock slot for a headliner show. I'd be like, bam, let's call Apparition, and it's just dope every time. So yeah,
It's bringing a tear to my eye, man. I feel like the crowd's about to do something.
Came out of nowhere. He's just leaving.
So
his press.
I met Eric down at Infrasound, and just to touch on what Andrew is saying, he is a great DJ. He plays a great combination of deep and heavy, which maybe to say something that hasn't been asked or said, if you're just learning how to DJ, or even if you know how to DJ now, one of the most important things that I've learned about telling a story and doing things like that with what you're trying to do is make it a roller coaster. A roller coaster is never fun if you're just going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, drop to drop, banger to banger. You're going to get sick and throw up. You want to have little jumps. You want to have big ups. And the best roller coasters have what? One huge fucking hill, right? So you want to have maybe kind of like a build up to go with that. Now, I can't touch on that when it comes to Andrew because he fucking goes balls to walls and it sounds great. It sounds great. You're one of the only people that I can listen to where it's just turned up the entire time, and the mixing and the track selection and all that is like completely on point. But there's so many people, even some of the big guys out there, that just go up there and just think that because they have the most banger tunes, which they do, that they can just go up there and just lay it out, and it's boring. It really is. So
It really get fatigued quick.
So
definitely not the most memorable sets when it's just banger after banger. For sure.
I was going to bring that up when we were talking about what to do if you're booked before a headliner. If you have 4 really heavy DJs booked for a show playing 9 to whatever, they're all known for being really heavy, but they all know how to make your set a journey. You know, you won't be bored. There's a big part of that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
For sound on the beach during the day, it's straight heavy the whole day, but usually it's cultivated in such a way that I don't get tired of it. My neck is really sore by but like, there's I can't think what year was it that me and you played back to back, and then like was it Midnight Tea or Dub Loads or both of them that day? I can't remember. And then it was a couple like UK guys, I'm pretty sure. But I was out on the beach that whole day for like probably 8 hours, just and
it was all good, yeah.
But it wasn't. There was a progression happening, and we didn't just constantly slamming every single tune. I mean, maybe we did. I don't know how it worked out really, but it did.
It did.
There's a way to do it. You'd figure it out, kids.
What else? Or go ahead.
I was gonna say you're talking about like the progressions of sets and stuff, and I think there's such a, gosh, I learned to DJ house music by listening to podcasts before I moved to Minneapolis. From podcasts from all these guys who were making mixes in Minneapolis, maybe like 6 to 8 years ago. And gosh, I remember even in such a short amount of time, a couple years ago, people were making these mixes that were it's all about like starting slower or like starting softer and building in that progression. And just, I think about now you just don't have a lot of that anymore, at least in the scene that I came from. And it's like people are coming into the scene expecting like this start to finish, like balls to the wall, just the whole time. And these people don't know what it's like to be in a set that has to see or to experience or to even play a set that progressive and has these ups and downs and these valleys and these rivers and mountains and stuff. And it's just so interesting to see how that's happened over the last few years. And I don't know, you're right. It's fatiguing. It gets tiring. I can't do it. I don't know how people sit through hours and hours of that stuff.
Youth.
That's true.
I would say drugs.
True. A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Youth and drugs. Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, like, how Joe, you said that Joe is lucky enough to kind of get all that party system out of it, or partying out of his system before his inception to the music scene itself and stuff like that. I feel like when you take a step back from partying, and I'm not saying like we are all sober here and we never get down, because that is certainly not true. But if you ever want to be serious, and to touch on what Paul was saying earlier, the people who are on the upper echelon and the people who are serious and do this shit for a living aren't party monsters 24/7. They are serious businessmen.
Mhm.
Like for example, Insane Clown Posse. Do you really think that those guys are like that? No. Those guys wear suits to their board meetings and are very serious businessmen, and it is all part of their branding and maybe part of their act to be a party person or to be a juggalo or whatever they call those people. But when it comes down to it, if you want to be serious about something, you have to treat it seriously. And your body and your health and all that, you cannot sustain that type of crap, getting messed up every weekend or whatever it is. If you're serious about doing this in the long run, you have to take care of your mind, you have to take care of your body, and you certainly have to look at things from a reality perspective. And as soon as you take a step back from all that stuff, is only then are you going to realize what's actually going on. Mm-hmm. And you'll be able to separate the fuckboys from the people who are doing it for real. So
yeah. I want to expand on that a little bit too, and I would say, as somebody who's probably one of the older people here too, I would say anything that distracts from your goals, whether if it's music, anything that distracts from that or takes away from the time that you have to do that stuff, you have to be aware of. And I would say, I hate to say this, but if you're a young person and you don't have a lot of responsibility in your life, I got a job, I got a kid, I have a wife, I have a family, I have a lot of things going on in my life. I have to prioritize my time to have enough time to do music, to promote music, to DJ music. If you're like 20, 21, you have so much time ahead of you, and you probably don't have shit to do with it. Use that time. If you want to do music, do music. Focus on that. Don't let relationships get in the way. If it's a negative, if it's something that's keeping you away from music, relationships can do that. Don't get so wrapped up in other making money, that you don't have time for music. Prioritize it. If music's what you want to do it, and just be focused on that and use the time that you have, because 10 years will go by, and all of a sudden either you have a reservoir of music and a following, or you're just kind of back where you were because of whatever it is, drugs, relationships, bad use of time, bad time prioritization, all that stuff. So if you're starting out, if you're young and you have your whole 10, 20 years ahead of you, use that time. Be conscious of that. We all have limited time to do this stuff, and focus on your goals.
Man, if I had my air horn up right now, I would have air horn so many times. All right, y'all. Let's. Thank you.
I have one somewhere.
I have. All right, I have one last question that I want us to end on. It was sent in by Strathman, who's listening, but he couldn't get in the chat, so he texted me like several times. But he had a question. He said, what about someone or do you have any advice for someone wanting to start throwing shows? And his specific situation is the place has like no one throwing shows, which is kind of cool, but it's an untested market, I guess. So 2 questions, advice for people wanting to get into show throwing and promotion, and then what about in an untested market? And I want to start with Paul.
Be prepared to lose money.
Ding,
ding, ding,
be aware that you're going to lose money, and just hook up with people that have money, or just maybe get a crew of people that all want to do this thing with you, and just they all contribute a bit. But there's no time like the present. If you're in a market that doesn't have these things going on, what a better place. But you're gonna have to start small. I mean, pace yourself. Start with something small. Don't expect to walk into the biggest club in town and just say, "Hey, I'm gonna do a show," and then go walk back to your car and be like, "Oh my God, what am I gonna do?" Start with a house party. Start with a sports bar, that will let you come in on a Wednesday and a couple speakers. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere. So don't let the fact that you've never done this before keep you from doing it. Like I said, when I was back in the early jungle days, we lost the club venue that we were going to do for our first show. We just broke into a furniture store basically and
do the party. Story.
I mean, so don't let your dreams be memes.
Yeah.
You were the last person I expected to say that in this chat.
I can take it. I'm writing that one down.
Go ahead, Adrian.
So yeah, I mean, Paul always goes before me, so he says like all the things that are.
Welcome to like the demo listen vibe.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Paul, where are you out of? I'm not familiar with. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, maybe we need to link up on Facebook or something. I don't know about you. I'd like to learn more. But there's huge respects, by the way. So definitely be prepared to lose money. It's a gamble. You cannot do things by yourself. It takes a great team of people to do what we do. And it's mostly to do with people who are passionate about it and who are not looking for paychecks. If you are dealing with a bunch of people who are wondering how much they're getting paid by the end of events, stuff like that, I'm not saying that people shouldn't deserve money for what they do, but sometimes it's just not the case. And most of the time, you're going to want to find people who are more concerned about doing things right and being passionate about the end goal rather than where's my money, where's my money, where's my money. Because the people who are really going to be taking in the grand scheme of things, especially in St. Louis, I'll use it for an example. There's really only 2 or 3 promotion companies out of like 10 to 15 that eat at night. Okay. And if you ever want to be one of those people, you're going to have to start, especially if you have your own grassroots type of thing, which is basically what this Asker is doing. They're starting something from the ground up. I think Cody Barnes is a good example of just having a great attitude out in Bloomington. Because Andrew, isn't Cody one of the only people that does shows out in Bloomington, right?
Yeah, essentially now it's him and Steve. Because no one would let you play electronic shows in town.
Yeah, there's
really.
like a law. There's like a law. Or something like that.
It was weird.
Seriously, there's like a rave law. They have it out in Springfield, Missouri too. Or not Springfield, Missouri, but Springfield, Illinois. But anyway, going back to what I said earlier, you're always going to have a vision for what you want to do. And I can guarantee you the things that you always want to do may or may not be the things that always make sense business-wise by the end of the day. So it might be wise to get people that you know, like Paul said earlier, of course, who are also interested and fall in line with your vision of what you want to do, but they also have money.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid to lose it.
Yeah.
So giving people what they want to hear first. So like maybe you score somebody like Hero Bust on an off weekend or something like that. And it might set you back a few $1,000s, but it's a tour date that they need to fill. It's the routing makes sense. It's going to do good. And more importantly, it's going to keep your name in people's ears. And it's going to build momentum, because the one thing that you got to keep doing is having momentum and building on it. As long as there's people in the crowd having a good time, because I've had shows where there's like 400 people at it. I've had shows where there's 50 people at it. I've had events where it was me and the fucking artist and their plus ones. And regardless of what's going on, if you have a great attitude about it, which I'm guilty of not having a good attitude sometimes, but we all are. But I always go back to Cody. Cody is somebody who, if you guys get a chance to friend Cody Barnes out in Bloomington, he's somebody who I really believe in a lot.
I support this.
I wish that I was like him from the get-go, because I feel like I could be in a different spot than where I am right now. Also, leave your baggage off of social media. That is the worst thing that you can do as a promoter.
Everyone,
do not
even
do that.
outside of electronic. I feel that 100%.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
But
True story.
so maybe do as I say, but not as I do. On that one.
Either way, we're instructing you.
So if it's one of those things where you want to, if you're especially more so towards the grassroots end of it, since you're starting out, and you're one of the only people doing it, get involved with somebody who's going to be able to financially back what you're doing if you can't do it yourself, and is willing to accept the fact that this may or may not work out. But you want to go ahead and treat them like, like good, life of the party, all that stuff, because that's the type of stuff that they're going to enjoy. Get them to meet the artist. Exactly. There are, and believe it or not, there are people that just want to spend their money to hang out with the artist and be back and be part of the scene, and they don't give a shit if they lose $5,000. They don't care.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Think of the scenes they have borne.
Yeah,
exactly.
But eventually, you're gonna get to a part, because if you work hard enough and you're dedicated and you have a vision and you have a goal and you have a plan, it will happen. It doesn't matter. Like, there's going to be a lot of obstacles that you're going to have to overcome, There's going to be a lot of people who are going to try to ruin it for you. It doesn't matter how good you're doing. If you're the best person with the best attitude, there's always going to be people out there that want to see you dead in a ditch for some reason. It doesn't matter, because the one thing you cannot do, you can do whatever you want in life. You can be a junkie. You can hate your mom. You can disown your family. You can be a shitty husband, a shitty wife. You can do whatever you want. You can do great things. You can give to charity. You can have kids. You can be a great father. You can do all that stuff. The one thing you cannot do is give up. That's the number one rule in life. You can never give up on what you're trying to do, whether it's your passions, your visions, your career, and your relationships, and your family, and all that stuff. You just cannot give up on that stuff. As long as people see you for who you are and you're a genuine person, and you're trying to do the right thing, and you're not being a little douchebag on Facebook, you're treating, people with respect. Because let's admit it, what we're doing right here is not like pop music. People are on this scene and people are in this environment for a reason. It's because, we are the outcasts. We are the people who aren't really, we're not the people, we're not everyday people. We're people who are on that subculture, who are on that underlying part of society.
We are the limited edition.
Exactly. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way. And you have to realize that maybe there's people out there who are on this scene because maybe they're not having the best time in life, and maybe they are taking a little bit too much drugs, and maybe, that's okay. As long as you're sitting there and you're providing them with a good time and your understanding of everyone's life and where they are and what they're doing with it, and you know how to have a vision and just be positive and put on the best work that you can do each and every time, eventually you're going to I like to have what we call hater conversion sessions, where people who you'll find out that people who used to hate you for everything that you did and everything that you were come up to you at the end of a show because you booked one of the artists that they really like. And they come up to the end of the show and they say, and I'm Paul, I'm sure it's happened to you multiple times, where they say, you know what, man, I was wrong about you and I'm so sorry about everything. And you know what? Those little instances make it worth it. Not from like an ego standpoint, but from a, hey, that was really awesome. I could turn somebody who had a horrible attitude about something. Maybe they were having a bad time in life or whatever it was. And they came out to my show and they came up and they said, you know what? You do a good job. And in the end,
good times.
Sometimes the respect and knowing that what you're doing actually means something to somebody is all it takes for you to do big and better things than what you're doing before.
Bang, bang.
Boom, boom. Zach, is there anything left?
Yeah, you just killed it.
I think, they both said it so well, but I definitely think, be ready to make some compromises and be ready to be malleable and go with the flow. Not everything is going to turn out the way that you imagine it's going to. Build a team of people that you can work with who are the same way, who are ready to go with the flow. Sometimes things evolve right before your very eyes and you don't even notice it. Or, maybe you thought you wanted to have one type of night, and then next thing you know, you find out a couple weeks later a totally different kind of thing. So just be open to new ideas, and definitely find people who are open to new ideas too. You don't have to throw a freaking rager party right off the beginning, and sometimes it takes a couple weeks, sometimes it takes months, a couple nights, but don't give up.
Years.
It takes a long time sometimes. Don't give up and stick to your guns, and people will respect you for that. Don't just change because you had a night that didn't work out. Shit happens.
Oh my God, yes. Right. Don't give up. Never give up. Never give up. There's so many times where I wanted to give up, whether it's because things were working out financially, I couldn't handle it in life. An artist didn't show up or fucking called me an asshole in front of 500 people and walked off stage and tried to sue me over it. And
oh man,
there's so many things that I could have easily or not so easily given up on, but I'm so happy that I'm here where I am today because I never gave up.
Because you're on Redline Reload.
That's right.
Yes, I'm finally on Redline
Reload. Oh snap!
And hopefully I'll be asked to be coming again because Andrew is one of the greatest people out there. I will never stop booking you, sir.
My man.
And one of the things people were talking about, find someone who has money to help you out. And just so you know, there's a lot of people out there who are willing to help out, not for money right away too. And a lot of times people are often to do trades of some sort. If you can offer, maybe you're like a graphic designer and you could design some stuff for someone on trade of borrowing a sound system or something. Like, there's good people out there who want to see cool things happen and who respect creative people and people who are willing to work hard. So, you know, don't give up if you don't find the right people right away either, I think. You know, like we've been saying, it takes time, and it works out usually. Just gotta be willing to grind at it.
Yeah.
One thing that I found out, and I know I'm kind of taking over here, I apologize, but one thing that really helped me out is, I mean, everyone sat there and looked at Michael Jordan or whoever it is that they idolize, the poster on the wall, and you want to be like Mike. If you want to do something, and the reason probably why you want to do something is because you've seen somebody else do it and how they do it, go out and travel. Go to a city where because there's got to be a city where you see that they're doing shit that you like, and you know, they've got lineups or there's a promoter that you follow. I mean, certainly there's like 5 promoters that I follow, and I'm like, wow, I really like the way they do. And what has really helped me out infinitely is actually going out there and seeing how they do it, because there is a recipe and there is a method of how things work and how things work well. And you might be able to save yourself a lot of growing pains by doing that. Yeah, it might set you back like $500 or $600. But if you go out and you see how Alex Toffler does things, or if you go out and you see how Eric down in New Orleans, or Gritzy, or Nicole out in Denver, or B-Sides, or however they do things out there, and you find a couple of promoters to identify with, and more importantly, if you go out and you see their show in another city and then you connect with them, you can bet your ass that they're going to try and help you out and give you some advice and save you a lot of time and headache in the long run, you know? So, I mean, think about things like that. I mean, support what you want to be a part of. You know, go out and idolize and take advantage of all the advice that you can get from the people who are doing it well already.
Right.
So you're telling me I got to go further than the mailbox?
Yes.
Scary.
Yes, you do.
That's scary. I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of Toffler, I just want to plug this real quick because he just posted this. They announced that they're starting Amplitude again. It's not on Tuesdays anymore. It's on Thursdays, and they have headliners every week. Just let me read the list of these headliners to you real quick.
Sorry, I just fell out of my chair.
First week, XXYYXX, Falls, Distance Decay, and Xavier LeBlanc. The next week, it's Kaiju, The Greys, and Durbin.
Oh my!
That it's E-Pump, Candyland after that, then Feed Me, and then Nasty Nasty, and then they have Noisia and Pleasure,
man,
and then Ganja White Knight, Grimbly vs. Hecka, Boogie T, Kong Speaks, and then Enigma Dubs, and then Whittler and Tellum.
Oh,
that doesn't sound like Amplitude, thoh. You know, like
that sounds like real.
They're moving forward, and it's at Exchange, and it's on the function.
Oh, crazy. Okay.
Sick.
Adrian has been paralyzed and is no longer available.
All right, y'all. I got to wrap this up. I want to say mucho thank you to all of our guests. This has been definitely one of the Redline Reload hangouts for the books.
This was a really good show, guys. Thanks for
this is fun.
Thank you so much.
Really honored
to have made it and be here and meet you all. You're all awesome.
So just so you guys watching know, and our guests, all of these are recorded and put on our YouTube channel to be watched forever and be heralded as awesome content that people should know. So you can check that out on our YouTube channel. You can watch back to this show for like a week on our Twitch. I think it auto saves up there, and then it'll go on the YouTube channel. So I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Anything else from anybody?
Got done. Mad love to everyone. Mad respect to everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. It was an honor. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, y'all.
Yeah, thanks, man.
We will see you soon. Check out the Redline Reload shows. Otherwise, we'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.